Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, today we're going to talk about how you lift people up inside of your team, and I think that this is a really important part about being able to give some control. And this is interesting because a lot of people that we work with, they don't really ever give that, hand over that control to other people, but yet if they want to hand over control, they need to do two things. And one is make sure that people are competent around the skill base, and two, that there's actual clarity that that person is now going to be looking after that. How can an agent help the people that are working inside of their teams to get clarity about their responsibilities and at the same time also build them up in terms of their competence?
Josh, I think it comes down to the day they start, that they're setting up, their career path and what it might look like for 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, and that they set the expectations and then they understand what that person is in their team and what they're trying to achieve and where they want to be, make sure they mould together, and that they'll obviously work really well as a team. And then it's sort of putting trigger points in place on the growth and what they expect and what they need to do, and make sure that they're working in harmony to get that done. And I look at guys in my business like Kenji, who's at the moment 3/4 administration and then doing his buyer work on the side, to make sure that he's booking 3 appointments a week, and then obviously hopefully in a year's time it's half admin, 5 buyer appointments and 1 listing, and then to keep progressing from there and to make sure that we've both got the understanding that's the way it wants to go. Because I think that's where a lot of employment can go wrong with it. They haven't set it up right and got the right understanding amongst team members.
And also too, just being really clear about what expectations are, to say, okay, cool, well, in order for you to be able to go and do a buyer appointment, then I've got to make sure that you're deemed competent about how to deal with that buyer appointment. So are you, for example, calling back the owner? Are you in the position that you're giving price feedback to the owner, or is the agent going to be doing that? If the buyer actually wants to make an offer and it's pre-auction, what are we going to be saying? How do we work that? What are the forms that we need to fill out? And this is the challenge, is that people don't actually hand over and make sure that people have got that level of competence. They just go, oh, I don't really think Alex is good at that, so I'm going to take it back. And the moment you take something back from someone, you actually lose that trust relationship, as opposed to saying, okay, well, hang on a sec, here's the form, this is the dialogue, this is the visual aid, or this is the checklist that you could use. I'm actually going to train you specifically around that and get you to a position of competence, because the clarity is that I actually want you doing this going forward without me having to be involved. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, in that they kind of half-hand things over, but they don't really actually explain it or make sure that the person they've given it to is actually really competent about that role. And this is important for career progression, because you can see people who blow up, say, you know what, I'm not getting where I want to go. And they're 6 months in real estate, but they haven't even learned a listing presentation yet. They're 6 months in real estate and they're expecting to be like a hero yesterday, but they haven't understood the importance that really got to get a number of deals under your belt to learn how to actually go through that transaction. Alex, what would you say to an agent that are some key skills that they want to be spending some time to learn in the early years, which really sets them up for significant success as their career progresses?
I think, Josh, buyer work and dialogue training. I think understanding when to say the right things and not, when to stop talking, asking the right questions, body language of what a buyer or seller means to you, and understanding why people step in and out of real estate. And then I think that'll give you a really good indicator on, obviously if you get it, which is very hard for a lot of people in real estate don't get it, and obviously will help you grow and understand a client and what they're trying to achieve.
I think the big thing here is that realize that every single day you're going to face resistance. It doesn't matter how awesome you are, we all will face resistance, and it's how you get past that resistance that makes a massive difference. And I think that for a lot of people, the conversation must be about, well, now that this objection's happened, or now that I'm not getting success on the phones, don't shy away from it and let that influence the rest of your career. Learn how to master it. And that's where a lot of people, when they come and they sit in front of you, Alex, they go, wow, I've never seen someone work so intensely. But it's just that you're really clear about what you do. And I would say to you that no matter what stage in your career, you're always going to be building database. Then you got to learn to work that database, and you got to learn how to be relevant to work it. So that's about getting permission. And sometimes simple things make a massive difference in a career. So if I said to you, Alex, how I'd love to help you, if it helps, is that if ever we get a significant listing or sale in the area, I'll give you a quick call and let you know. Would that be okay? And now you've just opted in, and now you've got them in your database, and now you've got that one person. If you guys happen to list or sell something in that street or in and around that area, you've now got permission to call that client. But you don't have to go for the appointment. Say, look, Josh, just give you a quick call. One at number 24 has just been sold. This is how much it's sold for. What does that mean for you guys? Would it be of value for us to pop out, give you an idea, so then you can make some better decisions for the future? And it's learning how to not put so much pressure on, but learning how to be relevant to that client. One of the other big things here too is that, Alex, about people learning that the essential skills that at some point they're going to need to learn to list. What are some of the things that they should be considering? Like, how soon do you need to learn that listing presentation, some of the key questions? And is it a skill that develops over time or something that you can learn in a very short period of time?
I think you should start learning aspects of a listing presentation from day one, and the questions you're asking, and what is important to to that client in particular, and what they're trying to get out of it. But to me, our listing presentation evolves every single day. It's always trying to get better, trying to be ahead of the competition. The way people buy now is very different to 10 years ago. So it's always adapting and being open-minded. And I think, something that I did early on was listen to, like what we're doing now, Josh, listen to listing presentations, go on them, do role plays with a buddy within your office, and then you'll then mold into your own listing presentation. Everyone can train you, but it needs to be done in your own manner. But you pick and choose the right questions, right information, right toolbox that you've got that is best related to you as a person.
And this is a challenge. A lot of people hear more questions. It's not actually the case. Find what are the best 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions that might just change the whole game. Have you sold before? Did you have a preference between auction and for sale? What's the reason for the move? How can I assist you with that? And all of a sudden, just some simple questions like that change the entire game. And you're so right in that, first of all, it progresses in learning how to identify the needs of the client, then being able to sell to those particular needs that they've got, particular features or benefits or things that you've got in play that help to meet those unmet needs of the client, and then starting to then learn as your career progresses how you trial close, and then how to deal with some of the objections that come up. So when a fee objection, a marketing objection, or a brand objection comes up, you know how to handle that. And I love that too, about always getting better. And I always think that, like, every single month, you want to be thinking about what's our pitch this month, and every week, what case study have we got? What thing have we seen happening in the market? What changes are we seeing happening at a government level or even potentially internationally that might shift people's motivation that I could learn to be super relevant with people? So if we do that and we get a little bit more patient in the career, then it makes a huge difference. Alex, how long do you think that if an agent is at a standing start, brand new to the industry, that it would take for them to get to that view of potentially writing $1 million?
I think they've got to be expecting at least 5 to 7 years at the moment, Josh.
Yeah, so that's really an important part, is to learn that if you do it any quicker than that, you're getting really lucky because you've got great mentor and mentorship, but it actually comes back down to the quality of that database and that quality of that network and learning what it takes to build a team. And if you're forever learning, you'll forever be growing how much you're earning. And that's an important part of what we do to be great agents.